Yes, people, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video of the Bok and Kiwi Show. After a better weekend for the South African side, I would say. At least not 1 out of 4, but this time 2 out of 4. Um, and yeah, of course, South African derbies as well next weekend. So this episode will be very entertaining in terms of what we have got to say and what to talk about. Joining me, as ever, is the what can you call him? The ever knowledgeable, ever unbiased New Zealander Hamish.
Hello, how are you? Big week of rugby. 50%'s not bad. It's getting better.
Yeah,
Closer to
yeah,
that hundy.
yeah. Better than 25, so improvement, you
True.
could say. Yeah.
hmm
So yeah. But how did you enjoy the weekend in terms of all the rugby action?
Well, I actually think this weekend, entertainment-wise for the games, was a lot better than the first round. That Leicester versus Leinster starting game, that looked like a pretty decent one to kick off the weekend. We had Toulouse versus Glasgow, which was just such a eventful type of match to be 21-0 up for Toulouse to then lose that game 28-21. We saw the Quins get 68 points in their contest, and then some real interesting matches for the final day of the Champions Cup round 2, but it just makes me more excited for the next round. 4 weeks time. Got some URC derbies before then though, but yeah,
Yeah,
intriguing kind of weekend of rugby, I'd say.
yeah, yeah. No, it was. I enjoyed the Toulouse Glasgow game. Like that. That's probably the game of the weekend. In terms of the comeback and stuff. But so we'll get a bit into that. For me, I think that Leinster game was, of course, the. I think it was probably for me personally. I think it was better than the Glasgow game because I thought they were was more like it was a tougher game for both teams.
Yeah.
The Toulouse game, it seemed like if you on the left hand playing from left to right, you're gonna win. It
Hmm.
seemed like so. It wasn't much of a almost contest, I would say, in some respects because it was just tries flying. Um, but yeah, I think if not, probably the Toulon Bath game seems like
Yeah.
of what I'm hearing. That's probably the game of the weekend, and it definitely looking at the scoreline. I didn't watch it total, but that was really big score
You were
line for
watching
both.
a different game at that time, weren't you? What happened
Yeah,
in that one?
uh, we will save that for later. Save But speaking on that, do you want to start with the positive or the negative first? So
Oh, I do like a good positive first. Go on, we'll start with
should it
those.
go start positive? Okay.
I think so.
Um, so the Stormers they win again.
hmm
Um, Still unbeaten, but a massive one against La Rochelle. Expected one in terms of the team that La Rochelle sent, but they still done really well. The Stormers, I thought, in terms of because it seemed like La Rochelle will bring up a fight. Like it wasn't like they just completely collapsed or stopped, like we have seen previously, where they just struggle at times. Like if a team gives them a bit of a tough go, they struggle and it's a narrow win. But they actually done really well in the end, especially when the pressure was on at times.
Yeah, I think that this young side kind of proved a little bit of something up against what is, I want to say, one of the best runs that the Stormers have had in quite some time. I mean, they were taking their chances big time, but La Rochelle also scoring the 3 tries. I think that the only thing that hurt them was the fact that they didn't get a bonus point from that game. They were so close, just needed that one more try to be able to cross it and get just something from the away match. But Stormers are going very well. And the last thing that they will want is to let their guard down heading into this URC derby this weekend, because at the end of the day, if they can go throughout their last 2 games undefeated as well, in the URC. Like, that is absolutely massive for them heading into next season. That's when you start securing your maybe home semi-final at least, and then maybe even home final. Would be great to see for the Stormers.
Yeah. And so now they look like they are the team to beat. I would love to see them up against a Toulon or Bath. But what's a Champions Cup fixtures look like?
So next game they've got the Quins, which could be a really interesting game, I would say, after the way that the Harlequins played at home in their last contest. And then last round, they've got, who do they have last round? Leicester Tigers.
Ooh, so two tough games. It depends on the team, the Leicester send and their injuries, because I know they have a couple of injuries. So if their players are back by then it could be a good game. But that Quins game seems like, I think it's gonna be, if they won away in England, like that would be a massive statement. Of course, depending on what happens. Yeah. So now that it will be a massive statement if they beat them. But now they're doing good, and the they didn't even did they use all their Springboks? I only think, but they only used Sasha.
So they didn't have Damien Valimza because he was having a birthday party, but also he was injured. I think he had a little bit of a knock, and that was confirmed on their Instagram. In terms of the other players that they had available, they didn't really go absolutely stacked in terms of Springbok players, although I think, like I said, a little bit of injury based out of that. Plus, they actually don't have the massivest list of Springboks at the moment.
Yeah.
So, no, they're looking like a good side that Sasha is just going very nicely at the helm of. You know, a lot of people are saying at the moment one of the most informed players in the URC, as well as that Champions Cup competition, the way that he's able to set up gaps, create opportunities for his side. There's also the people who are waiting for maybe what happened last year, where he had that little patch where about 2 or 3 games in a row he just couldn't get anything going, similar to what we saw for Cade Vulhata in that Bulls game. So if he has 1 or 2 of those matches, I think that's when the Storm is going to lose that winning streak. But like I said, I think the damage is being done on the points table at the moment, that they can still afford that loss with how some of the other sides are actually sitting at the moment. Even in the Champions Cup, like the chance of them dropping outside of the top 4 now going into that round of 16 is almost impossible. So it means that hopefully, for the Stormers' sake, they will have a home game for that next stage rather than having to travel for that contest.
Yeah. And I think that is also what makes the Harlequins game that big, because if the Stormers win that game, then it almost secures that home round of 16 game, or home quarterfinal, because Leinster are currently second, player La Rochelle and Bayonne, and how that first off against Leicester went for Leinster. If they play, I think they play like that against a strong Bayonne team at home, if they do pick the stronger side, they could be in trouble. So yeah. But no, really well done to them, and they've got the Lions next up. Important game for them in terms of trying to keep up the form. It's at home as well, which is only their second home game in a while, because they haven't played many games at home, the Stormers.
Which I think is what makes their current record that much more impressive. Because of the fact that they've had to do it on the road, where some sides in the past haven't really been able to travel that well. And URC has become a little bit similar to the top 14. Now that home field advantage is absolutely massive. But the Stormers seem to, just no matter where they go at the moment, they're picking up victories.
Yeah, so, no, well done to John Dobson and his man. And yeah, they hopefully for them,
I don't think I have ever heard someone say that so unenthusiastically. That sounded like you really meant it.
Well, I'm trying my best, as it will sound to me. I'm trying my best. So yeah, but well done to them. And may they win against the Lions, and lose against the Bulls. May they do that. So yeah, but going to let's go to another a negative before we go to another positive.
Okay.
The Lions, of course, play the Stormers next weekend, but they lose late, right, up against Newcastle Red Bulls. I thought it would be a tight game, um, but I was thinking, looking at how the game went, the Lions could win it because they didn't seem to struggle that much as I thought they would. I thought it would be complete utter domination from Newcastle, and it wasn't. It was quite 50-50. But of what I saw of the game, the Lions, it's just not kicking the ball out, unfortunately. Like missed opportunities in terms of finding the line, kicking to the touch. So yeah, I don't know who their fly off were, but he didn't have the best of games. I don't know who it was, but yeah, I check quickly. Yeah, he didn't have the best of games because they got a few scrum penalties, and they just couldn't convert it. Was it Sam Francis?
Yeah.
He's played a few games now for them. Um, so yeah, interesting that he missed us, but he is a youngster.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, learning curve for them. But I think they will feel very like they missed out a lot in that game.
Yeah. Well, it's just another close game that the Lions haven't been able to finish off, isn't it? And that's becoming their biggest trend at the moment. 14-10 scoreline in that one. The game prior to that, they were winning up against Benetton to then go on to lose that game 26 points to 18. Game up against the Bulls, they were able to get that victory by the 10 points. Prior to that, losing up against Zebre by 2 at the start of October. It's an up and down type of season at the moment for the Lions, but they're a good enough side that if they can start finding a little bit of rhythm and, you know, the perfect time to start would be up against the Stormers. If they can somehow pull off that victory, it would be absolutely huge for them. And, it's not unheard of for the Lions to cause an upset in a game they're supposed to lose. Even just this season, we've seen them be able to do it. So, I wouldn't completely write them off, but at this stage, it would be a shame if they miss out in the Challenge Cup round of 16. But the chance is that there may actually be another South African side in that round of 16 as well. So hopefully we see, a few opportunities along the way. But you got to feel for them because it's just a repeat of what we seem to see so often at the moment for them. But they're like everyone's underdog side that they kind of still want to see do well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know it is. But to be fair to them, they getting that bonus point has helped them because the Dragons are on 4 points after they win. Big win over Lyon for them. But if they win their next game, which is up against Lyon at home, so that's gonna be the big game.
Yeah.
Beat Lyon at home, and then see whatever happens in the Dragons game. You have a chance because the Dragons they play Benetton away, so you backing probably Benetton to get the win there, and if the Lions can beat Lyon, that puts them in that fourth place where you want to be. So yeah, it's gonna come down right to the wire for the Lions in terms of if they can qualify. So yeah, well, now I think the thing of the Lions is they just don't they at times say their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
So I think that's been the common theme for them. They've got now a few big games in terms of South Africa derbies. They've got the Stormers at home and the Lions at home. Sorry, Stormers away, Sharks at home, Sharks away. If they can get at least, they need to win at least one of them,
Yeah.
and probably get. And if they can get 2 bonus points out of them, like in the away games up against the Sharks and the Stormers, and get a bonus win or two, then you would say that's probably a good thing for them, even though they have lost. Like just getting those bonus points.
Yeah. The
So
question I have for you is, if the Lions were to get knocked out of the Challenge Cup, is that a positive or a negative for their URC season? Having those extra bye weeks per se, where you get a bit more of a rest heading into the contests after, is that good, or is that something that could potentially hurt them? Because I feel like it's kind of a good thing, isn't it?
yeah, well, they currently set seventh, so 3 wins, 3 wins, 3 losses. It probably is a good thing because they don't have that depth in their squad.
Yeah.
If you look at it, because the team they play up against the Stormers this weekend is probably gonna be about 90% the team that they play up against the Sharks at home. The only possible changes is maybe Lorenzo Duplessis being in the starting 11, or or Henku van Wyk not being in the squad and someone else or something like that. Might be
Yeah.
just slight changes, but I think it's probably a good thing, especially if you look how tight the log is, because they sat in seventh of 16 points. If you go to if Zebra who are in 11th, even Benetton who are in 12th or 9 points, if they win like games, a bit of games in a row, then they're right there. So it's probably best for the URC campaign
Yeah.
if they want to go deep into the URC. So yeah, um, let's see. Uh, let's see what that delivers. Let's see. Hopefully for the Lions, they do get something. Um, like they do go deep in one of the two competitions.
Yeah. Well, they've been
Um,
so close, haven't they, for the URC the last couple of years, and then just
mm,
narrowly missing out. I think that
mm,
last year they were ninth or 10th, weren't they?
mm,
The overall standings, or in fact 11th. They were on 40 points. The year prior to that, it was actually the very last game that someone ended
mm.
up popping up just that little bit ahead of them, so they were in ninth in the end. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tough
Uh,
road. They're always right thereabouts, but
mm.
haven't quite
and
converted just yet.
and they run towards the end of the URC season isn't the best if I look at it. Um, it's probably 50-50. So if we look the last 5 games, they've got the Dragons at home, Glasgow at home, Connacht at home. Then the last 2 games are Leinster and Munster away from home.
Yeah, see,
So
that's tough. The way to
that's
end
the
it.
tough. That's the tough. So if they're gonna like secure top 8 in the URC, you feel like it's almost they have to get at least some points in these games, because after that they've got a few home games, 4 home games in which they need to, but they're gonna have to secure top 8 before those 2 games. You
Yeah.
would think,
Hmm.
and how the URC works, it's probably not gonna be like that. So yeah, But moving on from the Lions, a team that has finally won again, the Sharks. New manager, new captain, sorry, new coach, new captain, and they get it over the line against the Saracens.
Yeah. That's a pretty hefty win to have as well, because I know that going into that game it was really 50-50. Now, looking through at the Sharks lineup, you should argue that they should be winning that game relatively comfortably with the players that they've got available, but it is going to take some time to be able to get that momentum going. But, you know, they were probably one of the most nervous sides, I would say, when it came to around that 79th, 80th minute of the contest. Saracens, throughout that game, there were just a few too many times they kicked that ball back to the Sharks, gave them the possession, and going for that cross kick near the end, I think pretty much gifted the Sharks the win in that scenario, which I'm sure that the Sharks will be more than happy with, because they also got themselves the bonus point from that game, 4 tries on the board. But yeah, stressful 80 minutes for those in Durban watching that game, and not just because of the weather, because it was absolutely horrendous at the game by the looks of it.
Yeah, yeah, no, it doesn't look good. It really didn't. And in terms of where they are now in the pool, they've given themselves a chance um, to to qualify for the knockouts, because
Yep.
it's only really Glasgow that secured maximum points. It got 2 bonus points. They sat on 10th, but second, third, and fourth on 6 points. So they are in with a chance in terms of the Champions Cup. Um, and they've got Clermont at home. But first, they play away to Sale. So I think if they can get something against Sale, like just get a bonus point, and then you come home, you play against Clermont, they could be in for. They could get a win against them at home. So yeah, but let's see. I thought they were really good, the Sharks. Um, for me, it looked like on the attack they had more. They knew what they wanted to do.
Yep.
It didn't seem just okay. Well, we played with the forwards, played with the forwards. It didn't look one dimensional. It
Mm-hmm.
looked like they actually knew what they were gonna try and do, and they executed it probably well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think where does that leave them right now? If they can go on a run now, they've got 2 home games. Is it 2 home games? Yeah, no, not 2 home games. Bulls at home, Lions away, and then Lions at home. So winnable games based on the form of all 3 of the teams. You would say it's probably 50-50 in all of those games. So yeah, I think well done to them. Well done to the Sharks. And let's see where they go from Trentford. So yeah, but I want to ask a question again. This is similar to the Lions. Do you think it's better for the Sharks in terms of the URC if they don't get to the through to the knockouts, or
You see, it's a little bit of a tricky one for them, because they've got to be very careful with load management for some of those international players. But I think that the Sharks' depth at the moment, they are going to have to test it, because there will be times when their box are unavailable and they do have to try and get wins without them. And early on in the URC, they did have a couple games that were similar to that, where we saw players like a Vincent Tachuka really step up for them. Pepsi Putalese, he seems like he's getting better and better each and every week that he plays. But yeah, for me, the Sharks, the more games that they can have, like having bye weeks for them with a new coach, I don't think benefits them as much as the Lions, because of the fact that, the Lions, like we mentioned, their depth maybe not quite as much, some of those other South African sides, but every game that you can get under your belt as the Sharks with the new coach, that is hugely beneficial. So I'd say they want to go as far as they can in the Champions Cup. I don't think they'll lose a whole heap of sleep if they don't win the competition, or if they were to go through to the Challenge Cup instead, because then that way, once again, you can test out some of those younger players that are in the squad. But URC is still one that they seem to, even though they are so low on the table, want to target. Challenge Cup, at the end of the day, they were the only South African side that year that they won the Challenge Cup to bring home silverware. So it's one of those ones, like, it's not the trophy that everyone aims for, but if the opportunity's there, you still got to go for it. You don't want to be chucking it away like the Bulls did in that quarterfinal.
Yeah. Against
Remember that
Edinburgh.
one? Yeah, that one was weird,
Against
wasn't
Edinburgh. that was such a weird game. Because I thought even with the team that we sent there, we have a good chance, but we didn't in the end. But looking at the Sharks, like last 5 games in the URC, they've got Cardiff at home, then 2 away games against Ospreys, Edinburgh, and then 2 home games against Benetton and Sabre. So probably 3 out of 5. Once you would say, like, it's not too bad of home games. Those should be winnable.
Yeah.
So you're looking really, because Munster at home before Cardiff. Depends how Munster are at that stage, because they seem like one of the teams to beat. Really. So yeah, but I think well done to the Sharks, and good luck for them up against the Lions. That's gonna be a really good game to see where both teams are at. So, we played them. So actually, not good luck to them this weekend. Next week against the Lions, yes.
Right. Okay. So delaying the good luck to them until 7 working days before the next one. So, okay, I get you.
Yeah. But speaking about the Bulls, hot topic right now in the rugby world. We lose again, 4 games in a row. Now, we've lost. It's not looking good. That's for sure. And getting 50 put on you, it's also not good. I didn't see the Northampton lineup until close to the game. But when I saw that back line of theirs, you've got Finn Smith, Henry Pollock, and all them, I was like, okay, yeah. I thought we could maybe make it a close game, but when I saw that lineup of theirs, I was okay, yeah. It is what it is. I'm not too upset with this Northampton game. I think my overall thing is, in terms of, it's just the way, the performance. It's not so much the result, because if we, let's say if we got like loads of chances and we lost 40 points to 15, let's say something like that, then it's not that bad. You say, okay, we created chances, missed them. It's just something to work on. Yep. But it didn't seem like we did anything in that game. And probably were lucky to, 12-5 at halftime? Or 14-5?
Yeah, it actually started off a pretty slow kind of build-up in that contest, didn't it? Neither side firmly cementing themselves, but once again, a second half for the Bulls that just didn't fire, which for so many weeks now, it's been wait for the second half. That's when the Bulls are the most dangerous. But we just haven't seen them outscore pretty much anyone around the world of rugby over the last few games. I think for me, the most disappointing part of that game for the Bulls was they didn't even look like they wanted to win that game. and it was more so these young players had been sent there to be slaughtered by Northampton. Like that early kick at the post for Cade Volhard from 55 metres out, right? That for me already told me everything I needed to know about the mentality for the Bulls going into that game. Because before the contest, I said, no matter what, bare minimum, you concede 50 points. That's actually pretty much a direct quote. I said they're probably going to concede 50 points, but if they score 4 tries and conceding 50, you'd still consider that a mini win. Now they conceded the 50, but they only got the 1 try on the board. And I do think that at times when they should have been going really aggressive and trying to create chances for themselves on attack, they were too concerned about what Northampton were doing. And in doing so, were just leaving themselves susceptible to that counter attack, which we know that the Saints are so dangerous with. We've seen them do it time and time again. Champions Cup, also in the Premiership. They're not third for no reason. They are a good side, but it just seemed like the Bulls didn't want it. And they were willing to just go out there, play 80 minutes of rugby and just get run through pretty much the whole game without that aggressiveness and that physicality that you really do expect from a side that have held some domination to their own right over the last few seasons. Sorry, that probably hurts to hear, doesn't
it? No, it's true. What you are saying, no, it is, and I think that's probably one of the main things that is a problem. Like even under Jake White, when we did send those B teams or stuff, it still looked like they gave it. Like they still fronted up. Like they didn't just fold like they did here. Because if you look, the round of 16 game or quarterfinal we played against Southampton away.
So, yeah, that one was about they did get 50 in that game too, didn't they, Northampton? In the end, I believe. But the Bulls got, I want to say, about 20 or so points from that contest.
And it was close for majority of that game, I think.
So it was, where is it? I've got it right here because it was from the weekend that I had on the overlays. It was 59-22 in that quarterfinal.
Yeah, that's like it's better than.
It's still a lot of points conceded, isn't it? But at the end of the day, you gave them a little bit of something to be concerned about.
Yeah, I want to
this game we just didn't see it.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the main problems for most fans, because if you look in that game, they scored 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so they scored 5 tries in the first half, and we scored 3. So it was still in the balance. I don't know what exactly the halftime score was. Try to maybe find it, but it was still in the balance. So yeah, and then second half they just took it away where they scored 1, 2, 3, 4 tries. So it was still in the balance. So yeah, if I look, maybe what's the halftime score? So halftime score was 28-22. I want to say. So that's we scored a try at close to the end of the half. So 28-22 at halftime, and then they went on their run in the second half, and that was a young team. If you look at that team, you had Matanziman, Mornay Smith, Jan Hendrik Swanepoel, a young Jay van Heerden, Gumedi, Zach Berger, Chris Smith, Savino Jacobs. So it wasn't your big stars. So yeah. And the bench didn't have that much. You only had Ludwig, uh, Johannes was on the bench, Jakob van der Wald. So yeah, and it looked like more of a fight we put up. Um, so yeah, but what do you think is the problem? Is it the coaching staff? Is it the players?
I think it's above my pay grade, really, for this Bulls side. Like, it's been bad enough for a team like the Sharks in recent times in terms of their up and down form and who's to blame in that department. I think for the Bulls at the moment, though, this is a very new situation for the side to be in. The fact that, like you mentioned, 4 games in a row that they have lost, and a few of those games have been at home, which is such a different situation for this Bulls side. I'd say, like, of course, some of the players, their form doesn't help, but, like, don't get me wrong, Cade Volhata had one of the worst games I have seen from a fly half. It was not ideal, but that still wouldn't have changed the fact that they lost by 45 points. Maybe they would have only lost by, let's say, 20, 25, something like that. They were still going to lose this game with the fact that, once again, they decided to go for 3 points early rather than looking to be aggressive in this type of contest. But yeah, these 2 games in in December, just before Christmas, and also the one just after,
Mm.
they are crucial for the Bulls. And I know you wish the Sharks good luck up until you remembered who they were playing, but I do
Yeah.
think that the Bulls need every bit of luck that they can get from that game, because if they don't win that one, that becomes 5 in a row. If they struggle in their game after that, then that becomes the potential 6. And yeah,
Look, it's
it's
Stormers home and
tricky.
away after the Sharks, and with the way the Stormers are playing, if you don't win that Sharks game, you're probably looking at what, seven games lost. So this is why I feel like this weekend is so important. In terms of what I think it's more than just the players and the coach. I think it's something more, because if you look at Jan Ackerman didn't bring any other coaches in. He was happy with the assistants, and I think that's been one. So nothing really has changed in terms of the Bulls. I think that's probably the one thing.
Yeah.
And the one common denominator why probably struggling. Like, there hasn't. It's just been Johan Ackerman that has come in, except him, and I think one of the media guys also changed. Like, except that, nothing else has changed.
Yeah.
You still have the same, most of the same players. You've brought some in, but you haven't gotten rid of many. You still have the same assistant coaches, and those same assistant coaches that were probably one of the reasons why Jake White did leave in the end, because they didn't agree with him on everything. So yeah, it's a tricky one, and I think more will probably come out in terms, most more stories and more debate will probably come out, heading into this weekend and after this weekend. But for me, if we don't win this game, I don't know if we make the URC top 8. But, like, we've got an easy run, but looking at it, we we've got Sharks, Stormers back to back. Okay, then we forget the Champions Cup games. Um, so we've got our last what, 6 games are winnable, are really winnable. We've got Cardiff at home, Munster at home. You're probably saying, okay, if you lose that game, we have lost previously to Munster at home, so okay, take that. But they do play the Sharks the week prior, so Eh, So we play Cardiff, so surely we can beat them. Hopefully the
Yeah,
Sharks.
they're going all right at the moment, aren't they? About
Yeah,
second in the overall table, Cardiff.
yeah, they are. But you're thinking you can probably give them a go at home. In terms of at home, it should be a game. Dragons away, Scarlets away. Should win it based on paper, and then Zebra and Benetton at home. So like it's a good running. We've got a really good running. So, but if we lose the South African derbies in these next three games, I don't I don't know where do we go from there. That's that's my thing. So, but I'm just hoping we don't even have a good record against the Sharks. So I can't. I'm just hoping we win because I don't know if we will win. Um. So yeah.
It's a tough one.
It's
And it's one
it's
of
a
those
tough.
ones that the Sharks are finally starting, they've got themselves a win, so they actually really need this game too to go in their favour.
Mm.
So you'd argue that the Bulls need it more, but the Sharks, with where they are on the table, they probably need it more as well to still keep their playoff hopes alive.
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah.
hoping from that pretty much being the storyline that both sides play like that. Like this is one of those games you have to go out there, you have to put your body on the line for the 80 minutes because if you don't in this contest and you take that foot off the gas a little bit, the opposition, I would like to think, should then really be able to go for the jugular and try and, cement their season, which at the moment these two sides, they are up in the air. There's no confirming whether or not they will be top 8. At the moment, there's no confirming whether or not they'll be top 10, depending on how the rest of the season goes. So you just have to go
Mm.
out there and play your heart out. But
Yeah.
have the Bulls still got that in them? Or has this been hurting them
Mm.
too much from the last few weeks?
They probably show. They must show up against the Sharks, right? And it. I don't know what more I can say. Like, it's a must win, almost. And we don't have a good record against the Sharks. Last three times we have played them, they've beaten us, and two of them have been at Loftus. So yeah, it's not a good one. It's not been good. So yeah, but hopefully they fix up and then we can get over get over the line. Hopefully, but moving on from the Bulls, let's talk a bit about the other rugby news and fixtures. So I saw that the Ospreys are losing a few of their big guns. Dewey Lake and Jack Morgan leaving at the end of the season for Gloucester. So that's gonna hurt the Ospreys definitely. I think two two Welsh internationals, right? And with um, the splitting of the Wales side or abandoning of one of them, it's probably not a good time to lose them. You would say,
No, but it probably makes sense for those players as well at the same
yeah,
time, doesn't it? If there's uncertainty about what is going to be the future for Welsh rugby in the URC, if the big money is there and available, you're securing a little bit of your financial future. So, yeah, it's a massive shame for the Ospreys, but at the same time, like, I don't want to say they've done it to themselves, not so much the Ospreys, but Welsh rugby in general, because, when you know that some of the players who are in the current squads probably are going to miss out on contracts when the sides do end up getting kind of shrunk down, you gotta take the money while it's there. It's not going to be there forever, and I mean at the moment the English Premiership in terms of the guys who are available in that competition, it's a pretty stacked one when you look through at some of those
mhm,
lineups. Like you mentioned, Northampton, their backline the other day was absolutely stacked. And, I think it's going to get stronger and stronger. And hopefully the numbers do kind of back that up as well in terms of viewership for the Prem as well.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think the Premiership isn't good, and I think them and the top 14 looks to be in safe hands. So yeah. Then what else? I don't know if you saw this, but did you see Rugby passes like they done a top 100? Did you see the top 10 of the players?
I haven't yet. I've seen a lot of other people doing the top 10 and top 100 players and whatnot, and every single list that I've seen, everyone's just arguing about. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to get people to decide on who their number one player is, let alone 100 of the top players from around the world. So I think there were 6 Springboks or something like that, maybe across the 100. Is that about right for numbers wise?
No, I think they were more than 6 because
More than 6?
The top 10 that's 3. The top 10 has 6 guys.
That may have been where the 6 was.
Yeah. Should you want me to read you the top 10?
Go on then. Go on.
So 10th best player, Finn Russell. So 2025. Okay. This is 2025.
Club Rugby International, I assume a bit of both, right?
I would think so. I'm not sure what they based it off.
Okay.
Yeben Etzebeth at 9.
Mm-hmm. That's how many weeks he was banned, wasn't it? Ooh. No. Sorry.
Yeah. 8th, Louis Bellibier.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
7th, Thomas Etoy.
Interesting.
Then
okay, fair enough.
6th, Arhe Sleiman.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5th, Audi Sevilla.
Okay.
4th, you've got Malcolm Marks. And then 3rd, you've got Peter Seftoy.
Okay.
And then 2nd, Antoine Dupont.
That's the one that I know that a lot of people were annoyed about, wasn't it?
And then 1st, Sasha.
Right.
So
well, the good news is Sasha doesn't have much of an ego at the moment, so that won't inflate it whatsoever, being called the number one player on the whole planet. But yeah, Dupont hasn't played a lot of rugby throughout this year, so I assume that they're basing it on other stuff as well. Like I don't know what. But
I don't know.
I feel like it's one of those ones that, like, even sounds bad to say, but even Springbok supporters would say 6 isn't enough in the top 10. They'd feel like they should have 1 or 2 extra guys in there as well. So, like, you're just not going to get everyone to agree. It's risky. Like, even doing a team of the year is tricky enough. And I went through a little bit of the trouble of I ended up making a video involving not the team that World Rugby selected, but I did like a next best of the guys who I felt were like the next runner-up in each position. Finished it all, did a bench as well. Never uploaded it because I just knew it would cause too much drama in terms of that type of video. So I was like, nah, we'll put that one in the vault. That one's never coming out. But like, there's a lot of biasness that can go into it, of course. And everyone's going to have their guys, There's going to be those players. See, I would argue that BRA should be above Antoine Dupont, mainly because he has played throughout this year. And he's been absolutely tearing it up for Bordeaux. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what that's based off. I feel like there are a few other guys who are probably a little bit unlucky to miss out on that list too. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's tricky.
It's a tricky one. So, yeah, but at least my shock is that Thomas Etoy is so high. I didn't like. I don't know. Like, it's national.
What number was Oxen Share, out of curiosity? Has he got himself a feature somewhere in the top, like 20? Sure.
11th.
I was about to say it'd have to be somewhere near that top 10, and maybe they've only said because of the fact that like international wise, Ox was incredible. But then maybe for the Sharks, they've said he didn't have as much of an impact as. But then the Sharks scrum was winning them games, so it depends on how far back they're going in terms of
Yeah,
the
they're
decision.
doing
I
it
know that.
based off
The,
this year, so I don't know if it's
yeah,
just international. It might be just international games.
but it's got to be club too, doesn't it? Because like I think that's where the
Yeah,
toy has really made his impact for Bath
yeah,
as well. They obviously
mm,
like Bath because they got Finn Russell and Thomas DeToy in the mix.
yeah. So because if it's just Scotland, I don't know how Finn Russell gets in
Hmm. Yeah, see,
because
off that Six Nations, someone like a Blair Kinghorn was pretty handy for the
mm,
Scottish, and you could even say for Toulouse throughout the season, he's actually been pretty solid as well. So,
yeah.
don't know, tricky. I wouldn't do a list like that. I'm too indecisive. I would spend all day
Yeah,
and all night trying to work it out to then
yeah,
finally decide and then be told no, that's not right, and I go,
yeah.
sad.
And the problem is, you'll get to like 80th and then or like 30th, and then you're thinking, oh, but what about that guy? But then you check your list and you see you have this other guy that's so far behind, and well, this guy can't be ahead of that guy. So yeah,
I think one
it's
day for
tricky.
a video, we should just have to try and name 100 rugby players off the top of our heads. I think we'd be able
It
to do it.
shouldn't
I
be.
think we should probably go
Yeah,
500. 500 players, top of the head, 1,000
500.
players. We're not allowed to leave till
No,
we do
no,
it.
not 1,000. 100's
1,000
fine.
players. Not allowed to leave. 7 hour
Five
stream.
hundred. We can stop at 500. I think 500's. Well, to be fair, just go through the South African teams.
Yeah,
That's
you got
probably
plenty
a
of depth there. That's over
yeah. So
100. And
and then I would do South Africa. You do New Zealand.
mhm.
Well, that's probably 500. Go through each team. So yeah. But looking at just the weekend fixtures for the URC, what's the what's it saying? So it starts off Friday with two derbies, Irish derby and Welsh derby. Leinster, Ulster, Cardiff, and Scarlets. Well, Cardiff got a big win over Ulster. I forgot to mention that. 29 points to 26. That was a massive one for them. Then Stormers, Lions, Benetton, Zebra. I'm interested to see how that game pans out because currently Zebra are above Benetton in the table.
Yeah, it's
So
kind of weird how they've done the timings of these games. Like they
yeah,
haven't
the
gone with the
timing's
normal time how you'd have it that every game, like maybe you have two games overlapping, but in this case, you've got three games that are actually going to be taking place at the same time in that department. But yeah, it's a whole week of derbies, which is quite exciting. And I really want to do Leinster Ulster in terms of a watch along. But at the same time, any time that I've done a game involving two Irish sides, it ends up being the one-sided game. And when I don't cover it, it ends up going down to the wire. Like I think the last time we didn't cover a game was the one that Munster actually beat Leinster. So I'm in a predicament of whether or not I want to see a one-sided game that I watch or a close game that I don't. So I don't
yeah,
know. It's a tricky one.
it's a trick one, yeah. But yeah, the timings are weird because I would watch that Ospreys Munster game, but it's right in between the Sharks and the Bulls game.
Yeah.
So it's the only game that doesn't overlap is basically the Dragons game. And could the Dragons get back to back ones? Like they got a massive one over Lyon.
Mm. Huge win.
So
And they had to dig very deep for that
yeah,
one. It looked like it was going to shape up a little bit similar to that extra Chiefs versus Racing game from just prior. But yeah, I think that a couple of the big games of the weekend per se aren't going to be the best games of the weekend. I feel like, one of these games Glasgow, Edinburgh should be solid. I'd like to think, just because the Scottish derbies are normally, a little bit passionate
Mm.
in there. But the likes of, like you said, Ospreys versus Munster, that could be a very good game of rugby to watch.
Yeah.
Even Scarlets in their game up against Cardiff, I think in terms of
Yep.
the odds, outside of that game between the Bulls and the Sharks, it's one of the closer ones
Yeah.
from the weekend. But yeah, we'll wait and
That's
see.
gonna be a really good game, part of Scarlets.
Mm.
I
Hopefully,
hope.
anyway. We have to add hopefully, because sometimes when we build up a game, it's just not good.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to. What are the conditions for the Sharks game? Because I know it's been rainy. Oh yeah. It will be cloudy. That's for sure. The sun won't be out. I can guarantee you that. But so hopefully no rain. Hopefully. What's the Cape Town weather like? Cape Town should be fine. So the Lions game will at least have good conditions. So yeah, but let's see. Right. So Ulster. Oh no, Ulster play Leinster. I wouldn't be shocked if Ulster beat Leinster. I don't know. What do you think?
They will if I don't cover that game. But if I do cover it, it will be about 40 points to 10 in favour of Leinster.
Okay. So cover the Cardiff game. Do. So we see Leinster losing, because that's always nice. See
Well,
Leinster
I
losing.
don't know if they will, but I'd say Cardiff Scarlets, Cardiff, they got that win, whereas on the other side of things, it's a tricky one, because you've got a Scarlet side that had 50 points put on them by Bordeaux, but then they scored 21 themselves, so that's decent. I think Cardiff, but not by a massive margin, maybe like 10,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Yeah. The derbies are always tight.
Mm.
I think Glasgow might. I want to see how Glasgow are, because that's gonna be a big thing. Because you did beat to lose, but now you have to. It's a new game. Like, you start on 0 points again, restart. So yeah, but let's see what the weekend delivers. Hopefully, a victory for my Bulls. Hopefully. Um, so yeah, but thank you, Amish, for coming on. We'll wrap it up then there. Last words, and then you can let the people know where they can find you.
Well, I've actually just looked, and Edinburgh versus Glasgow, that is the first of two games between the two sides. They actually play each other the week after as well. So there's a part of me that wishes that was some sort of little aggregate series. Actually, is it? Is it some sort of aggregate between those two sides? Not for the URC, but for like a trophy of some sort?
Um,
For some reason, that seems to
okay.
be somewhere in my brain, which I don't use too often, but it might be right in this scenario. But you find me on the Kiwi Lads YouTube channel. Video coming very soon, where we try and name 1,000 rugby players.
Yeah, it has the rap players. Yeah, no, yeah. I think it is the 1872 Cup.
Yeah, that's the one. What happened last year in that cup? I'm going to do a quick Google.
Let's see. So Glasgow won it last year.
So they won the first game 33-14. Edinburgh won the second game 10 points to 7. But because, of course, of that first matchup, that differential was pretty rough.
Yeah. So Glasgow has won it the most times. They've won it 11 times.
Yeah.
Started 18 years ago. So 11 out of 18. So yeah.
Solid.
Let's see. So Edinburgh won it in 2021.
Is that the last time they held it?
Yeah. Last time they won.
They be due, maybe.
Maybe they are due. They are due one. So has Glasgow Glasgow, the most times they have won it in a row was 5 times. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5 times they've won in a row. So they've won 3 in a row now. So let's see. But hopefully, Edinburgh do win. Like I wouldn't mind seeing Edinburgh win, but
Do you know what I've
the
noticed? I've noticed the trend is you're hoping every side that's roughly around the Bulls loses. Is that correct at this point in time?
anyone that poses a threat to the Bulls can
Mm-hmm.
can lose. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Just checking.
so yeah. But Edinburgh don't have the best away record. Um,
Yeah.
what's their away record in the? Yeah, they haven't won a game away from home. They lost to Cardiff by 1 point, and they lost to Munster by 1 point. Both of those 20 points in 19, and they lost to Zebra in the first game away from home, 3 points. So it's not too bad. But Glasgow, oh, very good team.
Yeah.
Um, Probably next weekend when it's at Edinburgh, it will probably be. I think it will be closer at Edinburgh. I would say. So
Yeah, well, they
yeah,
just have to make sure that that first match they don't let it slip like they did last year. Anything less than 10 points in that contest, or even to a certain extent 15, gives them a chance in the second half
mm,
with that second game. So,
mm,
they just can't lose by a lot because
yeah.
then that kind of takes it away from them.
Mm. It seems like every game is usually Glasgow. Glasgow usually does the first game, or of late since URC properly started. It seems like Glasgow always the first game, and then goes to Edinburgh. So let's see what they do. Is
I
the
just,
Ulster Leinster one? Is that also a cup?
I'm not 100% sure. I've just looked on my phone and I've seen something about Toulouse getting points deducted in the top 14. I think it's just happened. Face a 4 point
Lose.
deduction in the standings. How does that work? I don't know the system of the top 14.
Oh, salary cap breach.
Ah, well, yeah, that'll do it.
So the Toulouse had a 2 point deduction for salary cap breach. Record 24 time French top 14 champions. Toulouse were handed a 2 point penalty by the league organisers on Monday for 2022 transfer of Melvin Yemit from Birmingham. Birmingham? I don't know how you say his name. I'll put it in the private chat.
Hmm.
But whoever that guy is, never heard of
Oh,
him.
Jamanier.
Yeah, whoever he
It's
is.
the French 15, or at least he has played a little bit of 15 for the French.
Okay. Yeah. So from so salary cap breach, 2 point deduction. How does that then make the table though? Because surely then they fall a bit, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely something different than what you normally see. Like I don't think we see sides in many other competitions have to deal with that, probably because there's not enough money. Some of the other comps, but with their deduction, I don't know if they're sitting at the moment in second place because of said deduction, or whether they were actually higher than that initially.
They were than that. I think so.
Okay, so Poa are actually number one now.
Yeah. So it does make it interesting. I think they are, but they would stay second anyway, even if it isn't. It will just make the, the thing closer. Where are they? Let me try find out. Odds if they lose. So what does that mean? So uh, yeah, so they now have 34, 37 points. So yeah,
Okay.
that is after the point deduction.
Hmm.
So let's see. But the fact that do you do you think the Champions Cup might need a salary cap to make it a bit more competitive?
It's a tricky one because I don't think you can limit teams who have already got those players from playing those players. I said playing and players a lot in that sentence, but I think that if they've already spent the money to have the guys in the team, like you can't really say, oh, okay, because these guys are all worth this much, you have to play someone else into that team because or else then, I think that's just part of the competition and that's part of the
Mm,
excitement of every once in a while an underdog who weren't supposed to win in a contest managed to pull it off and yeah, maybe it could be this year we see a certain side. I know that most people are thinking top four is going to once again be likes of Toulouse, Bordeaux, maybe Glasgow can sneak in there, but also
mm,
Leinster probably going to be top four once again. And it's a question mark around the Stormers whether or not they can find their
mm,
way into
mm.
that top area. And I think it just makes it more impressive for the sides that don't have as big of a salary cap if they are able to beat some of these top sides.
Yeah, yeah, no, it is, it is. So yeah, I think that's all. I think covered mostly everything. Want to see is there anything else? What do you make of Henry Pollock? Did you see his comment that he made?
Which one?
The I would boo me too.
I
Thing.
did, and I'll be honest, he's slightly growing on me a little bit, only because of the fact that so many people are making fake stories about him. Like I've seen so many quotes that he's apparently said that are just like to pretty much make more people hate him. There was one a while ago that was about how like he said something about New Zealand, how people only know about it because of rugby or like because of the All Blacks, but that was something he never said. There was also one about Etzebeth not too long ago about how he said something about Etzebeth, which he just didn't. But I don't know. He's a young player who is literally just embracing the hatred that is going on at the moment and he seems to be thriving. Like most young players, if you were to receive that much hate, probably would have stopped playing by now. So I feel like in some regards, it's fair play to him because at the end of the day, like people always say that rugby needs characters, but as soon as they get one, they decide they want to shut it out and pretty much say, "Nah, you're not allowed to take part in the game." So
Yeah.
it's a tricky one. I know that you'll be able to speak on this. South Africans don't like him very much, do they?
Yes. They don't like him.
And why is that?
I think it's if do you know like the thing with Richie McCaw and being compared to Sia Khaleesi and stuff like that. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
similar to that. Like it's just been too good, and because England are good, he's been like the poster boy. They don't like him. It's similar to like how some don't like Sasha, like some of the other rugby fans. I think it's the same with Pollock, just with us. Like I think he's a pretty good player. Um, I just don't hope. I just don't hope Northampton win anything because they've beaten us now a couple of times. So that's the only thing. Like he can
Mm-hmm.
win, I don't mind, but yeah.
Okay. Everything
So
back to the Bulls, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It is. So, yeah, but I think like what other fans have with Sasha thinking is arrogant and stuff like that. I think it's the same from us to Henry Pollock. But to be fair, he's a quality player. I can't fault him. Um,
Mm.
really like. I feel like he's the Cameron Hanacom for us. Of course, Hanacom just got that big injury. That's the only thing. So yeah, we'll wrap it up there then. I think that's
Alrighty.
everything. Yeah. So yeah, where can people find you? Mm.
They can
So
find me on the Kiwi Lads YouTube channel. Once again, video coming out soon where I sit and just name 1,000 race. That might be a good idea for the new year, I'd say. Maybe not on New Year's. That would be quite a sad way to spend the year changing. But early January, if I'm really bored and it seems like a good idea, maybe we go for it.
maybe, yeah, maybe. Like, to be fair, 1,000 isn't too much. If you just go through all the teams, think of all the
Yeah.
teams. Like,
It would take a bit of commitment and probably quite a few hours, but
yeah,
be good fun. Spelling would be the hardest part. I'm not spelling any French names right.
yeah. We just pronounce it how you think it is. Huh? Type, yeah, writing it down. No. Yeah. So yeah, but thanks for coming on once again. Do make sure to like and subscribe and do share. Go subscribe to him. Get him to 100k. Yeah, 100k probably before June should be. Shouldn't be too
See,
hard.
I'd say if by the end of next year we get to the 100
End
would
of
be
next year.
massive.
So yeah, but yeah, thanks for joining, and then we'll see you all on the next one. Cheers, guys.